Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it's November 24th of 2023. I need to, let's see, put the new medicine for today out, the 24th, and try to remember to do that. Why do I have a stocking cap on top of my head? It's because I've got several places up there that look kind of gross. I need to get in and see again the dermatologist. I had a several uh, skin cancers taken off of the top of my head a while back, and I'm sure there's some more up there. And so I don't want to look at it. I don't think you want to look at it. Um, I've used over the years a whole bunch of different email programs. Um, Proton is one that I used in the past, and it's on sale for, is today Friday? What day is it? Okay, I can't click on there. Let's see. It is Friday, by the way. But this sale has been on, I think, for a while, and it's a limited time offer. And it has, its thing is really good security, privacy. And I think, of course, I'm 82, so I don't need to worry about privacy now, I guess. Uh, but I've used it in the past. I'm thinking about doing it. Did it? Yeah, what's going on? I'm thinking about using it again, but probably not. But I do get tired of Google, and I've been using, well, I've used a lot of email programs over the years. Yeah, you would not believe how many. Because just think about how long I've been doing, email and stuff. Um, and I've gone back and forth. I know I paid for a while for Proton Mail. Its headquarters is in Sweden. No, Switzerland. They both start with S's, do they? Um, so I doubt I'm going to go, but I'm just Google just what they're getting data on you. So when you go someplace, they pop up. It could be good in a way, but they pop up all this stuff on you. They have all this information on you, and I'm kind of tired of it. I did go to Brave as a browser, and there again, I tried that a few times in the past, but it's really good now, and I do recommend Braze. Braze? No, I find it the fuck it is. Um, so also, let's see, Proton Mail. Okay, I just signed back up again for. Um, no, okay, I've been using Mailbird for a while. Uh, and no, Mailbird's something that I tried in the past, and there again, I have signed up for it, and I'm using it a little bit. And then, of course, I've been using Google Mail forever, off and on, well, usually on. And let's see here. Um, Mailbird, and I recommend it. Well, just find something good that you guys know probably. Even though I've been doing this forever, uh, I think you all pretty much know what you like and what you don't like, unless you're brand new or something. As you have probably seen, I've got a wish list. Let's see, it's on Amazon. Got a wish list, and a few of you have bought something off. Now, over the years, when I was doing this before there was a YouTube, before there was a lot, I had a lot of people over time because there wasn't much around. I had, several, which I would call large donations, like $100, $50, that type of stuff over the years, and someone actually bought me, a brand new bicycle when I was in Miami, Florida. Before there was, cell phones, Palm devices. I was one of the, I bought a Palm device. There was actually something before the Palm, and then the Palm came along, and I moved to the Palm device, and then of course eventually there was, cell phones. So. It was fun in the beginning with the Palm devices. Of course, cell phones are better, than the Palm devices. Now, like I said, I'm 82 years of age, and all I have that is really working now, like I do have a Chrome tablet, and I've liked the Chrome operating system, and I just don't. It doesn't have enough memory. There's several things that are wrong with it. Not technically wrong, but just wrong about it. But the only computer I've got that's working is this $220, whatever it is, refurbished, Dell computer. So if you've been watching my videos and my thinking and talking about what should I do, now let's see. I think it was you may remember because I don't remember. I actually ordered an Apple. Okay, it was not an iPad. I think it was an Apple phone. And, oh, by the way, everybody, whenever there was no Apple phone, when they were announced, people were lining up for like a week ahead of time outside of, Apple stores and places like that. And there was all kinds of, people just, going crazy. I've never been an Apple person. Still not. But I'm willing. Kind of at a late age. Oh, I think I look stupid with this. Hang on a second. I think I look like a merchant marine, somebody with that hat on. Stocking cap. Okay. When Apple announced that they were coming out with a cell phone, people lined up. There was all kinds. It was crazy. People were wanting it. I was doing, my thing. Several things online, and I think WordPress, in addition to being online, thing. And there was somebody had a young setup thing that they had set up a young site, and they announced that you had to, if you didn't have to, but if you wanted to try to win one of the brand new Apple cell phone that was coming out, you needed to write a little paragraph or something or other saying something about this site. And of course on my sites, I I said, hey, this site over here is giving away a free, when it comes out, a free phone, and here's all you have to do. And here's the link to go to these people and do that. And so I went over and, of course, filled out the thing. Uh, and I think they told how many entries they had. I'm pretty sure they told how many entries they had. And they didn't have very many. I forget, but it was not very many. And so on my sites, I was telling people, hey, there is a very good chance you can win one of these. All you have to do is go over there. They're picking one winner on such and such a date or time or something. And I think very few people went over from my site or anybody's site. And I won. And then, of course, everybody wanted an apple, and they were hard to get. I mean, they were hard to get by stores and hard to get by at anything. So this place where I won one, they kept telling me, that, they would, as soon as they were available, they would send one to me. And then finally they contacted me and they said, Jim, we're having a hell of a time getting, and it was on the news, of course, a hell of a time getting, getting one for you. And they said, would you take money instead? And I said, yes, I will. So they gave me money. They didn't I didn't ask, they didn't offer the full price, and I didn't ask for the full price. They just, they said, how about such and such? And I said, okay, because they were, struggling to get, trying to do the right thing and everything. So I got, no, I took the money. That's right. Okay, I took the money. So, let's see, Apple. A while back, I talked about, Apple. I've never been an Apple fan. I'm not an Apple fan now. Well, I am really. I mean, because of these because and the new Bionic software chips and that whole thing, I'm a fan. I just can't afford, afford an iPad or something. But I put this on my wish list. This is about the cheapest, which now you people know more, some of you people naturally know more about, oops, let me switch over, about Apple and the iPads and stuff like that than I do. Everybody knows more about it really than I do. I watch tech TV things, Windows Weekly, and then the coverage of iPads and the coverage of, let's see, do they cover Chrome? I mean, they do. I'm not sure that because I've watched shows in the past. Anyway, I kind of keep up, because it's tech news and I'm interested in that kind of stuff. I kind of keep up with it. And Apple right now has some good sales because they're coming out, I guess next year or whenever they release, they're coming out with upgrades to a whole bunch of their stuff. And right now this is available for $229. I don't have $229, but if some of you want to make a donation, you can use it. You can send money to there's a link someplace on my site to PayPal, and it just goes into my PayPal account. Or somebody could buy off the list. Let's see. My list. But I know what I want to do. I don't want to get another. I like those mini computers. I've bought several of them, But I think the way for me to go for my last few years, however long that is with an Apple iPad. Now, I'd like to have, top of the line, but that's a lot of money. This one here is really cheap, and it's inexpensive right now. And oh, you're not seeing it again. Okay. Now, if you're an Apple person, well, I'm sure this Apple iPad 9th generation, with an A13 chip, and because of what I do, making these videos and stuff like that, I would not need a keyboard for it. I just need the basic stuff, and I think if, by the way, I should look for that. I haven't done that. I should look for, I will, somebody who's using, now not somebody that's, that has, a gigantic monitor that's used with the iPad and a, keyboard and all that kind of, but if you know of somebody who is on YouTube making YouTube videos that look good to you with, a little bit of graphics and all that kind of stuff, something, I'll be able to come up with 200, I'm not sure what it'll be here in a little while. My price might go down a little bit, but something that's reasonable. I mean, I cannot afford I'd love to have one of their high-tech ones, really high-tech. But I'll eventually be able to come up with, right now, not now, I've got some expenses coming up. And, I've got to have surgery on my eyes for cataracts coming up in January. Got some expenses, and it looks like that we're going to be kicked out of this apartment that Darlene has been here for 22 years, and I've been here for 12 years in this apartment. And it looks like we're going to be kicked out because of my son. He has some problems, and he has been a pain in the butt to the apartment complex people a little bit. So, as of right now, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to, so we're going to have to come up with money for moving someplace. And I'm not sure where we're going to come up with that. Not sure at this point what's going to happen. Our lease is coming up in February, but of course, if we're going to have to find someplace else, we need to, start saving for that. So I'm not sure at age 82 how much longer I've got. I'm feeling okay today. My problems are, urinary problems, having to go to, piss all the time. It makes it difficult to, if I go someplace, am I going to be able to make it there and back or whatever, and that kind of stuff. And then there's other problems, medical problems and stuff. We don't have a car. Darlene, my ex-wife, is, confined to a wheelchair, and a lot of things. So, your help. You might let me know. I'll do a search now that popped in my little brain. For somebody who's making YouTube videos that using something, an Apple iPad. Now I'll look at it. I'm sure a bunch of people are going to pop up, that they have the fancy keyboard and they have all this other stuff around them, and they may have a staff of people helping them. A lot of YouTubers do. Um, but I think what I'm going to do, unless I have a crash here, uh, I think I'm going to go make the switch to Apple iPad, because that new chip and everything that they've got and everything really looks. I've been looking at them, a little bit, not a lot. I mean, not physically looking at them. But okay, so if you know somebody, happen to know somebody, maybe you watch him or her. Could be a her. Not in the beginning of computers. There were not very many females online. If you watch BBS the documentary, by the way, you'll see that they talk about that a lot, and the females that were there, the few. I mean, it was like out of 500 people, if you had a computer bulletin board system or whatever, you might have 2 or 3 that were women. Mainly, an awful lot of it was, teenage boys. And some of those teenage boys actually wrote the software for the different programs, bulletin board programs and things. And they would write, let's see, which ones were they? Quick? I can't remember. There were a BBS program would come out, and it was really good. And I'd start using that, Of course, I had to write my own in the beginning in BASIC. And then I gave it to another guy, and then he adapted it for the Commodore 64 and for the, I think the color Cocoa or whatever and stuff like that. He used my BASIC to do his magic, And as soon as, I had to write my BBS program for Howard's Notebook in the beginning in BASIC. But then as soon as he, called into my BBS and said, what kind of software are you running, and blah, blah, blah. And I told him, and he was still is, and he probably retired, electronic engineer, graduated from KU, University of Kansas, in whatever, engineering or electronics or something, I forget, He taught at DeVry, by the way, later on also. Amateur radio operator also, Tom Wheeler. But I think at this point I want to be a trader and go with Apple. It would be really nice. I mean, it's amazing. I've seen a few videos on YouTube. Not a lot, because I got a lot to do just doing and plus two, I have to do a lot of stuff around here. Yesterday I was kind of stressed out because Darlene, my ex-wife, I was trying to do stuff yesterday, and she just kept calling me to, could I get something out of the refrigerator for her? Could I start the washing machine? Could I just, and I was just kind of, I didn't take a club and beat her with it because I don't have a club. Anyway, I was upset with her, and I shouldn't have been. Anyway, if you know somebody that's making some good YouTube or some good software or good YouTube videos using an Apple iPad, and if you can make a donation, there's a link someplace here that goes to where you can go to my Apple site where you can, these, of course, they're really nice. Even at this basic thing, they're really nice. What I kind of hate to do is go and just for a little bit more, and then you get this, and then for a little bit more you get this, and you get this. I think the problem with this one that's on sale right now for $229. It doesn't come with their newest stylus. And the stylus that it does come with, now I'm not going to use the stylus a lot, but, maybe back up for a second. I did buy a Apple computer. No, an Apple cell phone. And I got it, and I didn't have it very long. I could not get it. Okay, I've been doing this stuff. You would not believe how long I've been doing all this stuff. You wouldn't believe how many things I did, how many, I had Palm devices, but there was a thing before the Palm device that was nice. I had a Palm device. I carried that for forever, and I was like, working when I was working hospital security, if I was in the emergency room or something, as the officer assigned to the emergency room or whatever, and the paramedics or the police would come in, and they say, oh, what's the number for, such and such, or what's this, or whatever, and I'd take it, and they'd say, what's that? And then I'd show it to them, and, look, and they'd, wow, that's neat. That was a Palm device. That was before cell phones. So I've used a lot of stuff. God, I've spent a lot of money. But, okay, tell me if you know somebody who's making good YouTube stuff by using an Apple iPad. And then also, if you are somebody who's an Apple person, I had a friend, he worked hospital. He was a respiratory therapist in a hospital. We worked together. We were like the only two guys in the, that had a computer. I had the IBM computer, which was actually a Tandy 2000 and then I had two of their Tandy 2000s. And but I was in that classified being like an IBM person, And he was definitely in the Apple thing. He was big into that. And he really knew, it didn't help me, but he knew everything. And the way he was different is I buy something, and I have a problem with it, and I just buy a different item. And as far as he bought some parts for his computer, a new board or something. And then he would work on the problem. And I mean, it might be a year, and then he'd say, oh, Jim, by the way, I finally figured out how to fix this problem with the thing. And, but anyway, I forget which you probably know if you're an Apple person, if you were in it a while. Now, he loved Apple, and we debated back and forth and stuff. He'd come every couple of weeks or whatever over to my place, and we'd talk computers and politics. And it didn't work out very well. Because he was of a different persuasion but he was, okay, that's the first time I saw I had seen him maybe, not in real life, never held one or anything like that, and he bought, and they were expensive, one of the first, phones, or first cameras, and he came over and he brought that, and I said, wow, and then of course he handed it to me. And I forget what it was, several $1,000s. That was one of the first ones, and he had that. And then show you the kind of guy he was. When, let's see, was it Google Maps or what was it, where you could look up? He came over, and I said, have you seen whatever it was, was it Microsoft Maps or whatever? I forget what it was. But that's when you could look up an address, and that type of stuff. And so he came over, and I said, have you seen, have you seen such and such? No. And I said, look at this. So I typed in, my address where we were, my address, and the map pops up, and you can see where, what's around it and everything else. And he's, wow, and everything. I said, yeah, this is amazing. I said, Roger, give me your address. No. And I said, no, come on, give me your address. He wouldn't give me his address. He was into privacy, and and I had to, and I said, oh, the hell with it, But and he was that way, not married, and into privacy or whatever. Kind of funny, when I was in 2000, when I quit working hospital security, where I had worked for 30 years, and he worked, at the hospital. So we worked together for quite a few years. But he wouldn't give me his address. I mean, I didn't want to go over to his place. He came over to my place. I would order pizza maybe every 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month, and we would talk computers and then politics. I really didn't believe he was, and of course he wasn't anything like this was before Trump and all this kind of crap. But it was still, I just thought we were having a little debate, hey, whatever. And then finally, I forget what came up. Well, the right wing started getting crazy and nutty and turned into terrorists, a whole bunch of them. But for a long time, I thought that we were just, sparring, debating each other, sort of, showing, that kind of stuff. And then I realized, wow, he really does, he's not just, privacy was extremely important to him. It's kind of funny. Now, I didn't get his address. He wasn't on my list. When I did the 2000 census, I was out doing the 2000 census, and there he was coming out of his house, Of course, I wasn't trying to, I didn't care where he lived, why would I? Except then I could joke with him. I said, when I saw him coming out, I said, now I know where you live. You wouldn't give me your address, but there's where you live. I said, if I went in there and looked in your refrigerator, would I find a bunch of heads or something like that? And he laughed, But, really nice guy, except, man, he just went too far. I wonder, I haven't communicated with him since like 2000 or whatever. He worked respiratory therapy, and he, he was the way he was. And then he transferred out to the small hospital that I was working with. They were the same corporation and everything, but, he came out there. And so when he came out, he was not friendly. And it was a small hospital. We were all friendly with each other. We were like a family. That was a great time. I worked altogether 9 years there. And he came out, and pretty quick I found out, because that he had, Apple computers, and then he knew I had a computer, and so right away we established, communications and whatever. But I remember being in the emergency room, and we worked the midnight shift. And at night, he was respiratory therapy by himself, so he had to take care of all the treatments and come down to ER to do a treatment, or also blood gas. I think that respiratory therapy did blood gases. And I think they did, at that point, I think they did actually EKGs. But the ER nurse could do, they were trained to do, hook up an EKG. Well, I think any nurse could do. Anyway, get back on the subject, Jim. Get back on the subject. The nurses, he was new, and he had trouble. I think that's why it came out there. He was like a grumpy old man who could I use as an example? Some movie star or some movie part or something. I can't think of it. But he was a grumpy old man. But we were talking because we were talking computers, even though he had only Apple, and that's and but we still were, computer people. And then the nurse, I even remember which nurse it was for some reason. And my memory is not the greatest in the world about stuff. Some things I can remember, and some things I. Anyway, the nurse said, Diane, oh, I got to call Roger down to do this. And I just hate to call him down because he's so grumpy and that kind of stuff and everything, but I got to call him down. So then when she called, to come down, and he came down. And then as soon as he showed up, I said, Roger Dodger, there he is. And then Diane, the nurse, was, no, Jim, don't say, and then, anyway, I civilized him. I got, I'd tell him, hey, Roger, the ER's got, they got pizza or they got this or that. And he started to really fit, he started to really fit in. And then when I left, when I was ordered out of where when I had to leave there, that's a long story. And I tell long stories, right? So that's not as interesting as some of the stuff I tell, in a way. Well, I did a grievance on it and everything else. Yeah, that's an interesting story. But when I got yanked out of there, he didn't last, and within a few weeks he was gone. They reported him because he went back to being his grumpy old self. And then he moved on to doing sleep apnea tests. That's where they hook you up at night someplace. I guess they could do it during the daytime if they had. Well, you'd have to sleep during the daytime. Anyway, he was doing it. Then I know he ended up for working for a different company, corporation, and they would do their things in motel rooms. So he would have his equipment, and it could be done in a motel room, and rather than a person having to go to the hospital. I worked a year at Lee Summit Hospital, and that was smaller than the big hospital, not as small as the one I worked with in my hometown. But when he was working, when I was working at Lee Summit Hospital for that year, he was working there too. So we, got back in communications with each other. But he would sit at a table, like a card table, with the equipment on it outside the door of the room, the person's room that they were in. I think he had the door open or whatever so he could see them or something. But out there, I remember during that year a couple times, the fire alarm went off, and because I had to respond on the fire alarm, take care of stuff like that, when he was doing the sleep test or whatever. Anyway, okay, make a recommendation if you can. Also, maybe if you're doing something like that, or maybe you let me pull up Apple at Amazon. No. On YouTube. No, let's see. No, I should on Apple. Okay. Let me just pull up Apple iPad and see what the so got to put you over here so you can see. Okay, well, I got to go over here and type. Okay, Apple iPad. We're pulling that up now. Okay, there's the one that's on my wish list. Okay, here's well, I want something. This one, I don't, the 2021 version, I don't think has the bionic chip and that, the 813 and that kind of stuff. So not Although, look, it's more though than that, but still. Okay, here's one that's a little bit above. Here's one that's 349 iPad 10th generation, a 10.9 inch, and using the A14 chip. So, I'd be happy with that if somebody wants to buy one for me. But, okay, these are out of my price range, especially now with being kicked out of this apartment complex, it looks like. Okay, let's go. So anyway, if you make a recommendation, I would want one of the newer ones with the bionic chip and that type of stuff, or the A14. If I can't get it myself, or if somebody doesn't donate one or a joint, thing or whatever, I might eventually be able to go for the A14 bionic chip, the 10th generation. This is just out of my price range. I'm living on Social Security and $175 a month from working 18 years at a hospital. That was their pension plan. That is their pension plan. Except they sold out, the hospital sold out to a private hospital corporation. The big one, the one that's criminally in the past did so much that got fined a major amount of money. And when I went to Miami to work, I ended up working I didn't intend to after I quit in 2000 hospital security. And in fact, anyway, when I went to Florida, I just went out, and I told you this before, so I won't go into it. But I went to work for this hospital. Well, I went to work for a contract guard agency, and they made me the supervisor that was in charge of their people at the hospital. And wow. And I wish I hadn't done that, because I worked before 2000. I worked 30 years hospital security at all of the hospitals that I worked at. Security officers were part of the team, part of the staff, and I went to Florida to that for-profit hospital. Everybody there had a ID card there at that hospital, and that got you in and everything. And then you had a key to, your department or whatever. And security, we didn't have one. Of course, they didn't have security during the daytime. Wait a minute. Yeah, they did have security during the daytime. Yeah. No, they didn't. No, they didn't, because when I came on, I would have to, luckily the hospital was unlocked, so I could get in. But then I had to go back to the plant operations department, and before they went home, knock on the door, and then they grudgingly let me in, and then they had a little area about this size here where they had our radios, and we did have a key ring, but we didn't, you had to go get it, and we weren't allowed in the hospital, except we could go to the end of that office if we needed to get a new battery, or go to the bathroom, get a new battery, or if we wanted to have lunch or something, they'd let us do that. Other than that, they didn't want us in the hospital. Now, this security company that I went to work, they had just got the contract for it. But there were several security companies before them, and each one of them had been, fired, the contract canceled or whatever because of something the security officer did. And that was a mess. Anyway, give me some input on what you think. A bunch of you know me pretty well. Maybe you'll say, Jim, just stay with what you got. Get you another, Dell computer or something. I haven't done it. I'm kind of afraid I'll break something. But I have on a memory stick, so I can install, I can just put it in and reboot and run Linux without changing the hard drive or anything like that. And that should be safe. But then which I have done, if you install it and then you mess up. So right now I'm a little bit afraid to even do where you put this, and I've never had a problem with that. Put it in there and you reboot. Hit F2 or delete or whatever it is in order to go in and then say, run this, and then it installs it. Not installs it, well, you're working off of the, as you know, probably most of you have done that. But right now I'm afraid to do that. But I do want to try the new Ubuntu Linux, and I've tried a whole bunch of different versions of it. I can't remember the one that I like so well. Well, I liked a whole bunch of them. But there was one that was like it was designed for me, almost, It just had everything. And anyway, okay, you've got your assignments. And I'm going to, it's, what time? 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to get something to eat, then I'm going to lay down and take a little nap. Oh, we got groceries coming today, so I got to find out when that is. From Walmart. They do okay on delivering and everything like that. We've used them a lot. Well, Darlene is, she loves it. The more the prices have gone up on foods, people can be complaining big time about price of food going up. And it seems like the more the price of food goes up, well, she knows and realizes it. She's really good at, trying to get good bargains on stuff and trying different things and stuff like that. But it seems like the more the price has gone up, it's the more she wants to order. Anyway, so we're getting an order in today, and not a big order. It's about $100 order, that's all. But we had a $300 order back a few weeks ago. Of course, an awful lot of it is for Coke and other drinks. He's 40. Is he 47 or 57? Oh man, wait a minute. I wrote down my daughter's age someplace. She's 57, so he must be, I think. Can't remember. I just asked her the other day. Anyway, man, he eats a tremendous amount of food. I mean, he'll eat an entire pizza. And 2-liter bottles of different kinds of drinks. Darlene will get in 5 or 6 different kinds of drinks. One bottle, 2-liter bottle, or maybe 2 of the 2-liter bottles and some others, and whatever. And then he drinks Coke like crazy. He drinks more Coke than I do, and that's unbelievable. Anyway, think about making a donation so I can buy this $229. Today I'm going to go. Well, I'd like to have more disk space and everything, but I've got to do what I can do, or you got to do what you can do. Anyway, give me some input. Thank you very much for watching.